Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Sorry, I had a network or setting glitches, so I started a little bit late. Sorry, everyone. So inshallah today, and while discuss, something we've talked about in this group. By the way, my name is Imam Muhammad Amin, and I'm the founder of Mahir Academy. And so we've been having amazing Quran learning programs for a lot of the kids here at Mahir Academy, and alhamdulillah, we've been doing this for a while now. We've had a number of kids learn to read fluently with us, and today I would like to share with you everyone. I would like to share some of the secret of the Quran letters and how you can maximize the resources we have in this group. Like we have many resources, we have many classes that we've done in the past. You can check the guide section of this group. You see many classes that we've done in the past, to benefit yourself and your family, to garner yourself to get started with Quran learning, or if you've started before and you stopped for some reasons, so it give you insight and vibes on how you can get started again and get the kids and the family engaged with Quran learning. So today I would like to just discuss briefly about the topic I mentioned earlier. Sorry, this is a very impromptu presentation, due to Ramadan planning and all that. I have a lot of very tight schedule, not really able to do many things that I used to do in the past, right? So bear with me, everyone. So today we would like just to discuss the secret of the Quran letters. Like I mentioned earlier, it's the Quran itself is a mu'jiza. It's a miracle Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, the ummah of the Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And learning to read it fluently is something that we should aim for, right? We should aim to learn the Quran, to become a smart and fluent Quran reciter, right? And one of the things that I made a post earlier about something called the Quran recitation jam, and this is when people read the Quran, they stammer, right? It's not that they have stammering deficiencies or whatever, but because they get stuck, so they couldn't identify the letters and the different shapes of the letters of the Quran, and as a result of that, they get stuck or they can't pronounce a word properly. And if someone is able to avoid Quran recitation jam, of course that person inshallah will have been able to overcome more than 50% of the challenges and the mistakes that's going to take someone to learn to read the Quran fluently. Right, so identifying the letters. So three things you have to know with the letters of the Quran, the alphabet. So the ability to to identify the letters in different shapes and structures that they are in the Quran is essential a lot to learn to read the Quran fluently. And as well, the ability to pronounce the letters. The first thing is to visualize the letters and see them, and the second thing is to be able to pronounce them as it should be pronounced, right? And able to identify them in all the different words of the Quran and contracted Quran words and all that. So as you will see here, I've got different I've got a main diagram here. It shows that the Quran letters, they got where they come from, right? And this is the basics of anyone who wants to learn to read the Quran. The ability to pronounce the Arabic letters correctly. There are two components to Quran learning. We have the Arabic components, the ability to join the letters of the Arabic together, and not just that alone, but also the tajweed components. So how do you pronounce the tajweed? So learning to speak Arabic, it's different from learning to read the Quran with tajweed, right? So if you can speak Arabic very fluently, you might not know how to read the Quran fluently, right? In terms of applying the tajweed rules and all that, right? So, but it's a good thing that you want to learn the Arabic and also learn the tajweed component of the tajweed together at the same time. So the makharij, which you call the articulation point of the Quran letters, there are 5 regions of the mouth. And for the kids in our program, we break this down, teach the kids the letters first. For like 2 weeks in the program, we talk about the letters and different shapes the letters come from, and we have different ways to help the kids to learn to pronounce the letters and hear the sound of the letters being pronounced as well. So like the noon and the noon mashaddada and mim mashaddada, they come out from the nose. So that is when you do the sound, the ghunna from the khayshum. So this is where the shadda of the noon and the mim, anything that has to do with ghunna, ghunna, it comes from the khayshum, the nose, right? The upper part of the nose, and it's like so that's how it will sound, sound, right? And also another region of the mouth which letters come out from is the mouth, the jawf, I'll call it the oral cavity, right? So this is the oral cavity here. And subhanallah, it's really important that we know that letters of med, alif, wa, and ya, when they are non-voweled, when they are not pronounced, they are representing med, and they come out from the jawf. And we have 6 letters that come out from the throat. So people do not know how to pronounce the ha and the hamza. So this is ha. So this is ha, and this is hamza. So they pronounce differently, but they come from the adnal aqsa al-halq. They come from the aqsa al-halq, the deepest part of the throat, right? And we have the ghain and the kha, which comes from the adna al-halq. They come from the very close part of the throat to the tongue, right? And we have wasat al-halq, where the ayn and the ha comes out from. So you've got to know where these letters come out from the mouth. And that's why whenever you pronounce the letter, you get to know, am I pronouncing it very well? Because you got to feel that part of the throat or your mouth when where the letter should come out from. So this is like, so this comes from the adna al-halq. It comes from the very close part of the throat to the mouth, right? And this is the middle, ha. And this is hamza, ha. They both come from the deepest part of the throat, right? And the majority of the letters come out from the tongue, right? And you got to know which regions of the tongue in which the letters come out from. We have like 5 regions of the mouth of the tongue, or 4 regions of the tongue where the letters come out from. So you've got to know and learn how to do that. So one thing, the secret of the letters of the Quran alphabet is that, I said this earlier on, that the Quran alphabet, the Tajweed Quran alphabet, we have 29 of them, 29, and the Arabic is 28. So why is that? Because the Arabic, the Hamza and the Alif have different function in Tajweed, right? Even in Arabic as well, but in Tajweed it's 29 letters. But you might see the Arabs say it's 28, but in Tajweed Quran it's 29 letters, because the Hamza is a different letter that get pronounced differently from the Alif. So the Alif oftentimes is used for med, right? The Alif is used for med most oftentimes. So we're gonna give some examples there now. So the Alif have this function of med, of elongation for 2 seconds, right, or more than that. So, but the Hamza, you see oftentimes, you see if the Alif is written, you see the Hamza on top of it. You're gonna see the Hamza written on top of it. So Hamza most oftentimes is always on top of an Alif, like you see here. So, but Alif naturally is used for med. So the lips is the last part of the throat of the mouth where letters come out from, right? We have the ba, the mim, the fa, and the wa, right? So the ba, right, the ba, the mim, the fa, right, they come. So the wa, it's coming out from the tongue, from the lips, so you're gonna have to kind of squeeze the lips. Wa, ba, mim. So ba and mim, they come out from the same region of the lips, so the lips have to close together. But mim, but fa and the wa, the lips do not have to close, right? So wa and fa, but ba and mim, the lips have to close. And that's why whenever these 2 letters come together in a word of the Quran, or they come after each other in this in subsequent words, we give them idgham, right? Because they all have the same point of articulation. That's why we have idgham in Quran, letters and words. So when letters come together from the same region or very close part of the mouth, so it's hard to pronounce them whenever they come after one another, or they come after each other, or they come after each other in the same word, or in subsequent close words, right? Or words that are very close to each other. So so this are where the letters come out from. And whenever we learn to pronounce the letters of the Quran, we should be watchful of this and make sure that we are pronouncing the letters from the points where they should come out from. And you guys know how the letters are pronounced. I'm not going to go into this, but one thing I want to show you guys is the structure of the letters, and which is really important to be able to avoid Quran recitation jam, right? To be able to avoid Quran recitation jam. So you see what I was saying earlier is that this is an alif, alright? This is an alif, and you will see here that this alif here, it has an hamza on top of it. So all these letters here will be pronounced like hamza. It's never gonna be pronounced as an alif. So you pronounce this letter as a, so they all gonna be pronounced like hamza. Because why? Because they don't have, the alif is not pronounced. So you see a hamza on an alif, you pronounce hamza. You see the ba and the letters of the sheen and all that. So all these letters have to be pronounced normally, but you got to identify and know where and what structure they have and how to pronounce them. And you see the ha here. A lot of the people learning the Quran, they find it difficult to identify the different structure of the ha and also the ya as well. So learning to pronounce the letters is really important, and also learning to identify how they are in the Quran words is mostly important as well. So getting that secret in yourself and getting to know what to do and where to get and how to pronounce those letters, it's really important to become a fluent Quran reciter. And I know many of you here right now, you have your kids learn the Quran maybe somewhere, or you have them memorizing the Quran, but they can still read the Quran fluently. They still have stuff to do, right? They can read the ones they memorize, but they can't read the ayahs that they have not memorized yet, right? So you want to help your child to learn to read the Quran fluently and have them avoid Quran recitation jam by making sure that they are able to identify the letters of the Quran the way they are in different structures and the sound. Some letters, their sound are very close, and this is another big challenge. And we do this in our program to help the kids overcome this. Kids learn differently, but with time in our program, the kids get to know all these differences and able to move on and become a fluent Quran reciter, inshallah. This is one of the exercises that we do in our program to help the kids, kind of mentally train them to become an adept, master of the Quran alphabet. You see, so the Quran alphabet can be in contracted form. Most oftentimes, people see the Quran alphabet in a separate version like this, and it's easy to identify. But the moment the letters get contracted together, they become hard to identify for a lot of beginners and learners, right? So this is a real task that we help the kids overcome in the program, right? So and lastly, there are different fonts of the Quran, and I think the most common one is the Indo-Pakistani form and the Uthmani form. So when you teach your child to learn to read the Quran, be consistent. So don't kind of change between different fonts, so they can get easily confused. You see how the meme is written here? It's very similar to the way it's written here, but like it's a little bit different. Not really as this one is really very small, tiny, but this one is really very much bigger. And you see also sometimes the stop sign, the structures look different. It's still Quran, but different font, right? Different fonts. And also you see like the dal here. You see how the dal looks like here. You see how the dal looks like here. So you've got to be mindful of this when you teach kids Quran. Don't get them confused. Make sure you have a consistent type of Quran to teach them over the time, so before they can become fluent Quran reciter. Anyone who's much advanced can later on learn how to read different fonts, but make sure that you are consistent with the fonts of the Quran that you use to teach your kids. So this is where I'm gonna stop, inshallah. And like I said, we are currently enrolling for students that would like to join our program. So we have two programs. We have the accelerated Quran reading program, which is mainly meant for kids who are struggling to become a fluent Quran reciter, those who cannot read the Quran on their own, or those who are learning but they still have a long way to become a fluent Quran reciter with Tajweed. So the accelerated Quran reading program is a 4-month program which trains the kids to become a fluent Quran reciter within that period of time, within 4 months, 16 weeks. And so afterwards, once they're able to read the Quran, so they can memorize the Quran easily or continue reading the Quran if they don't intend to memorize the Quran, right? So we have that program. It's a 4-month program. So if you're interested in that for your child, type Quran in the comments below of this video. I'm going to reach out to you. Or if your child already know how to read the Quran fluently, but you want to try, or you yourself want to help yourself learn to read the Quran fluently. Although right now we don't have an adult program, but we are planning to launch an adult Quran reading program, accelerated reading program by May 1st after Ramadan, inshallah. So we are in the month of Ramadan, month of Quran. So some adults are struggling also to learn to read the Quran. So we are creating 5 spots for adults that will be interested to become fluent Quran reciters in our program. It's gonna be the same curriculum. So check this this group. You see the guide I just wrote on how to learn to read the Quran in terms of the curriculum, the Tajweed concept, the Tajweed curriculum that you have to learn, and the component of the Quran Tajweed that you need to learn to become a fluent Quran reciter. So check that, and you see those curriculum modules that were listed in the guide. So, but if any adults, although mainly we have program for our kids right now, we're enrolling right now for May 1st after Ramadan. So if you're interested in helping your child to become a fluent Quran reciter, tap Quran below or send me a private message. Inshallah, I'm going to reach out to you. Or if you want to help your child to memorize the Quran, so your child can read the Quran fluently on their own with Tajweed, but you want them to move on and do the next step, which is to memorize the Quran, right? So we also have the Scribe Quran Memorizers program, which trains the kids into the more advanced Tajweed and also help them to retain their memorization and different ways that we do our programs, right? So that's the second program, but we are launching a new one, which is the adult Quran reading program by May 1st. And any adults, any parents that's interested in that, so right now we have just 5 spots. I'll be the one to teach that group. We only have 5 spots, for adults who are interested in learning to read Quran fluently with tajweed. And if you're interested in that, just put Quran comment below in this video. Under this video, I'll reach out to you, for us to talk about the modality of the program and how it works and everything that the program entails. So if you are so interested to help yourself, or you want to help your child, we got all those right now ready for anyone that wants to help their child to learn to read the Quran. So if you're that person, you got to put comment below, comment Quran below this video. So I'm gonna reach out to you, and we're gonna have a time to talk about it, about our accelerated Quran reading program. Also, if you are an adult that wants to learn to read on your own as well, you want to become a fluent Quran reciter with tajweed within 4 months, right? And you have that determination. So we have an adult program that is launching May 1st. So if you're interested in that, comment Quran below, and I'll reach out to you, inshallah, to get ready for that. So if anyone have any questions or comments after this webinar, kindly comment below this video, and I will personally reach out to you. And most importantly, we're in the month of Ramadan, the month of khair, the month of barakat. So we all want to emerge and gain all our possible best with terms of ajr, qiyam al-qira'at al-Quran. So if you are someone who is struggling to read the Quran, you so desire to learn to read the Quran fluently, this Ramadan might have gone for you, but you can make it up. You can make it up. You should have that as a determination you have as an that you want to learn to read the Quran fluently. So join our adult reading program that will start May 1st. We have 5 spots only available. So you wanna be one of those, and join us in that program. It's gonna be starting May 1st after Ramadan, inshallah. And also the kids program also are starting May 1st. So we have all those opportunities for everyone. So you got no